back with another video. Today we're going to be doing a good old-fashioned PvP tier list. Now this is my third time doing this. I had a few messes, a few hours ago with the rendering, and so this is my third time. So I'm gonna try to get this done quick, and I already know exactly what I'm gonna put where, but still I'm gonna talk about it a little bit, and that's pretty much that. I haven't uploaded a video in a minute. I've been playing other accounts, getting glad on them. So I have a fair enough of XP. I'm 2600 in threes and in solo shuffle. So I played a lot of games. Now I can't really specify what the character's name is, but just you can believe me just at a word of mouth. You'll know by what I'm saying because I've personally played against them. So that being said, let's start off with the good old-fashioned Affliction Warlock, which is easily S tier. You have burst damage, you have consistency, you have CC, you have defensive cooldowns, you have healing, you have everything. There's nothing not to want as an Affilog. You do have to know how to use your port. I will say, if you don't know how to use your port, you're gonna stumble, you're gonna struggle, you're gonna feel like it sucks. But if you are doing good with your ports and you know how to port before using your big wall and all that good stuff, you kind of have Dark Pack up the entire game. You kind of have port up the entire game. Just click it and you're pretty much good. Now, I've done this 3 times, so my voice might end up, I might not be even able to talk the rest of the day. I got water here just in case. I'm going to try to go through this quick again. Just stay with me here. The next one we're going to be going over is going to be Demo Warlock. Demo Warlock is actually really insane. If you're wondering why you're seeing a lot more Demo Warlocks, it's mainly because they have a lot more consistency on their burst. They used to kind of be a consistent bot, but they didn't have much burst damage. They now have a lot of damage. It is a lot. SP Demo, LE Demo, Boomy Demo, all those can be very well. And I personally played S play, so Demo SP, and we pretty much beat every game. We beat Blue Drew's RMP, so we playing Outlaw Mage a few nights ago. We 3-0'd him. He didn't stand a chance. It was like the easiest games of my entire life. We just absolutely, it was just easy. So, Demon Warlock, really good. One of the better specs of a caster. But that's pretty much that. Next one we have is Destro Warlock, which is going to be A tier. The reason it's A tier is because it's really required to know how to get precog, and there's a lot of things you need to do as a Destro. You're not like an Affy where, you can just get kicked off CD and still have damage going. You kind of have to get precog, and you kind of have to do really good setups to do anything as a Destro. Otherwise, you're just going to get grounded, kicked, and you're never going to get to play the game. So Destro does a lot of burst if you're really good, but if you're not good, you're just going to get trained and you're never going to get to play the game. The next one we have is going to be Boomy. Boomy is easily one of the better casters in the game right now. I would say it's A+ tier, not S tier, only due to the fact that its defensive cooldowns suck. Defensively, Boomy is one of the worst specs in the game. I don't know why they haven't received Survival Instincts yet, but who knows why. They need a defensive cooldown. Skin is not a cooldown. Now, I wish they would nerf their CC a little bit, or like just take away Root Beam and give them Cyclone only, or like honestly make Cyclone a CD and then just give them a defensive cooldown. I think overall their burst damage is broken. You're getting 2 versions of Incarn, so you're not just getting 1, you're getting 2. And then you're getting Spammable Clone and Root Beam and Bash. Overall, insane spec. You have burst, you have CC. Your defensive cooldowns are the only lacking part, and that's the only thing that's not making you S tier. But overall, Boomy is one of the better specs in the A+ tier folder, if not very short of S tier. The next spec we have is Pharaoh Druid, which is still going to be S tier. After the buffs it's received, it does enough pressure to, it deserves the spot. Again, defensively, it's not the greatest. It does die really quick. If you're not pre-bear forming, you can literally die in like 3 globals and a bomb, or literally just behind a pillar randomly. You got to be a really good Pharaoh to beat good players, because you just take so much damage. You got to know how to pre-bear. The moment your healer CC'd, you got to know when to use your cooldowns. It can be really stressful, especially to get off clones, because you're facing like an elemental shaman with grounding, kick, knock, stun. It's just annoying. Overall, though, still has a lot of damage, has a lot of CC, really good. The next one we have is Wrestler Druid. Now, I used to think they were really bad until now. They have like 40 or 50 yard range Cyclones, which automatically makes them A+ here. Spammable Clone is one of the best things about Druid in general. Just being able to just do whatever you want the entire game. You're not really having to do much other than clone and I will say your healing is really good. It can be weak depending on what you're facing. For example, evokers will shred against you any day of the week. You know, if they fire breath all your bleeds off, which is the one downside to why Restitude sucked in the first place, is because evokers just hard countered them and they still do. But Restitude's still really good, still viable. It's not S tier, but it's still good. The next one that we're going to be going over is going to be BM Hunter, which is going to be S tier easily still. Really good spec, really a big amount of damage going out, and just really good. You have everything. You have defensive cooldowns. You have a good amount of healing. You have offensive cooldowns. You just have everything. You have everything you would want. BM Hunter is still broken. I would say it's in a better spot though. It's not like it's it's kind of up against other classes now. It used to just be it destroyed everything. Now it's kind of like, okay, there's other things that can actually beat it. So, it's still good. The next one we're going to be going over is going to be MM Hunter, which is kind of in the same spot as Destro. It's kind of just a one-hit wonder. You click your burst, you could still make it work, but overall, BM is just going to be better. MM Hunter, you have a lot more burst than, what you had, but still not that good. Still not that good at all. It's kind of just a one-hit wonder. You use your burst, you hope for the best, and that's pretty much it. The next one we're going to be going over is going to be Survival Hunter, which is going to be A plus tier easily. Now, it is going to be on the lower side of things, but it still deserves a spot. It still does a lot of damage, and I think its consistency is what's making it good. So it's not kind of like, it's like with MM Hunter, you kind of have that, your burst damage throughout the burst, but as a Survival Hunter, you have more than just burst. You have a good amount of consistency with it. You can actually keep up. It's a lot better than what it was, but it's kind of the lower end of the stick here, so it's not necessarily really good, but it's not really bad either. So the next one we're going to be going over is going to be DK. Unholy DK, easily gonna be better than Demo and Serve, but worse than Boomy. Unholy DKs came up from the ground. They used to be absolutely unplayable. Now I will say they're not necessarily goaded, but they do a lot of damage. They're able to just, as long as they can sit on somebody and hit them, they're able to do a lot of consistent pressure. Still really good, still viable. After their buffs, I would say if they get buffed by like another 6% on every ability, they're easily going up to S tier. So they're not that far off in S tier, but they are a little bit short of it. So just like Boomy. The next one we're going to be going over is going to be Frost DK. Frost DKs are insane. Um, Frost DK I would probably put in front of everything in the lobby right now. They're just insane. They have CC. They have unhealable burst damage. Unhealable. Like, if you're a good Frost DK, you're just going to win almost every lobby. They're just insanely strong. You're able to kill pretty much everything. You counter H-Pals. You counter Rest Druids. You counter almost everything. You're just really strong. Having 6-second silences off your AoE stuns that cannot be bopped is just super strong. You're pretty much able to close out games in 2 goes at that. Really strong. Insanely OP. It is getting a slight nerf in Season 2, I'm pretty sure, with its AoE stuns. But still, for now, it's still easily one of the best A+ tiers we got. So, the next one we have is going to be Arcane Mage, which is going to be one of the best A+ tiers we have, just because its burst damage is really strong. The only downside to Arcane is, actually, well, yeah, no, okay, I don't think it's A+ tier, and honestly, if I had to put Serve somewhere legit, yeah, okay. Arcane Mage is really strong when it comes to burst. Now there's pretty much 2 versions of Arcane. So Arcane, where there's like a bunch of pets that you can hit, or everyone's stacked, S tier. Arcane overall is A tier. So, it can have infinite damage when people are stacked together. But other than that, you only have one block. You have all you have is really your burst damage, and then you're pretty much useless. You're not keeping up with anybody in damage class A+ tier. Obviously, if they're stacked, then that's different, but you know what I'm saying. Overall, Arcane's still good. All these specs are viable, but you're not really going to see them much. The next one we have here is going to be Frost Mage. Frost Mage is easily going to be better than Unholy DK and Demo. I would say it's worse than Boomy and Frost DK though. Boomy just has way more consistency on its burst. Uh, I think its CC is overall better as well. You're getting spammable Cyclones. Cyclones is 1 second more than a Sheep, on top of Root Beam, on top of having a stun. So you just have way more. Then you have two versions of Incarn versus the Frost Mage, which has their burst. I will say Frost Mages are tankier, but Boomies are better overall. Just going to be overall better. Frost Mage, you have about two comps you can play. Boomy is kind of the same thing, so it's kind of you can kind of argue which one's better. Um, they're in the same category, so they're close together. So there's that. The next one we have is Fire Mage, which is going to be one of our worst specs in the entire game. Overall, just terrible. It can't survive. It does mediocre burst. They kind of switched it into an AoE spec that's been just trash the entire season. It's been trash for about 3 expansions now. Unfortunate, but all well. The next one we have is going to be Rogue. Outlaw Rogue is going to be A plus tier easily, and I would say it's probably better than. I would say it's probably actually better than all of them. Um, Outlaw is just really good, and the reason it's really good is because of its control and its burst. So it has a lot of burst damage and it has a lot of control, and that's what makes it really good. If you put an Affy with an outlaw or a mage with an outlaw, they're gonna run circles around you, especially if they're good. Outlaw Rogue's really good right now. One of the better rogue specs. Just really good. Assassination Rogue is our S tier spec, easily S tier now. It is the lower end of S tier, but it's still insanely OP. You play an Affylock with an Assass Rogue or a Frost Mage Assass or a Dev Evoker Assass, which is what I played to get 2600 or 2500. Play a Dev Evoker with an Assass Rogue and you'll win almost every game. I can almost guarantee it. That's literally what I've been playing, and we beat rank 1 teams like Chun and Blue Drew, just absolutely farmed them. But that's pretty much that. The next one we have is Sub Rogue, which is again going to be one of our worst specs in the game. It is getting a high nerf with taking Shadowy Duel out of the game, so it's even going to be worse. So if you think Sub Rogue's bad now, wait until Season 2 when you no longer have the one cooldown that's made it viable for 2 expansions. So that is kind of unfortunate. But oh well. The next one we have is going to be Elemental Shaman, easily our second to first best spec in the game. Has a lot of burst damage. Every 4 to 5 seconds, Primordial Wave one-shotting everybody. Insanely broken. Fury Warrior Ellie, Ellie Pharaoh Druid, Ellie Demo. You can play a lot of comps with this. Elemental Shamans, you're seeing almost. They're just like Warlocks. You're seeing them every lobby. You're seeing a lot of them. And if you see a class a lot, it means it's good. And you see every one of these specs a lot. The next one we have is Resto Shaman, which is going to be right behind Resto Druid, but it is really good. I still think it qualifies for A plus tier. It still does really good healing. Defensive cooldowns, it has really good defensive cooldowns. I will say Earthen is still a really bad, terrible design spell because it's all based around your team being good and not having a. It just doesn't make sense. Like you can't really expect somebody to stay in it that's 1400 TRs. Like you know, you're gonna struggle as a Resto Shaman until you get the higher rating, and even at high rating, they just run right out of you. Like Earthen's supposed to be your main top ability with healing. If people just stood in it, it'd be that simple. But nobody stands in it. It's kind of just a worthless cooldown. So still really good though. The next one we have is Enhancement Shaman. Enhancement Shamans are doing really well right now. Um, However, I still don't believe they're doing better than like Demo or maybe right here is fine. I still think they're better than Unholy DK. I think Demo is just a. It's good, but I can't really know how to say it here. But maybe this is better. Enhancement and Holy DK. The problem with them is it's super class designed, meaning you not only have to be really good, but you have to be playing a specific comp. You can't just play like anything. Kind of same thing for Demo. I still think Demo just has overall better qualities. You know, Enhancement and Unholy DK are kind of like they're good, and that's why they're in the A plus tier. But I still think Demo just for some reason is better. I see a lot more Demos than I do Enhancement and Unholy DKs. The next one we have is going to be um, Fury Warrior, which is going to be S tier. Now, I would say it's probably right here. So I still think it's better than maybe not actually. Let me think here. I think Pharaoh or Fury is better than Pharaoh and Rogue. The only reason I think that is because not only is it easier to play, but you're just doing a ton of damage. Um, That's pretty much it. I just think it does unhealable damage. I played with Fury Warriors. Now, there is a downside to playing a Fury Warrior. After 2400, you still need to know how to play. Like, you can't just run in and W key the one target the entire game. You actually have to know when to run out, know when to run in, know when to use your cooldowns, know when to trinket, know when to swap. There's still a lot of things that come down to Warrior, and you can tell a good Warrior from a bad Warrior any day of the week. Still overall good, but that's pretty much that. Next one we have is Arms Warrior. Um, Arms Warrior is honestly not that good. Um, Even after its buffs, it still struggles a lot. So, I'm gonna put it. No, I just don't believe it's that good to be honest. Arms Warrior does a lot of burst damage, and don't get me wrong, but I still don't think it's like anywhere near the A plus tier list. It's kind of just a one hit wonder. It does its burst damage, which is great, but it has nothing more to offer after it. And although its burst damage is strong, I just don't feel like it's better. It's good enough to be in the A plus tier list. Not right now. I'd say it's still good, still viable. I still think it needs a buff. Like it needs to be Shadowlands Warrior for in order for it to like counter react Fury. Fury Warrior is pretty much the Shadowlands version of Arms Warrior. The next one we have is Dev Evoker. Easily, easily one of the best specs in the game. Um, I would probably put it here. So Dev Evokers, that's actually what I queue. So I play Dev Evoker Assassination Rogue, and Dev Evoker literally triples everyone's damage. It is absolutely insane. You guys may underestimate it, but I have played with it, and we just it's so strong. Now so you do have to be a solid evoker. You got to be able to get your Dragon's Breath off. However, your burst rotation is 4 buttons, and you literally click 2 other buttons in the entire game. So very overall, it's kind of like a Fury Warrior version of Caster, but you still need to do some things like time stopping, swooping somebody, rescuing. But that's pretty much that. And when they put, the greatest thing is Evoker counters Feral and Assassination Rogue with its bleeds because it can take off everything. So it is just a hard counter. The next one we have is going to be Augmentation, which is an absolutely worst spec in the entire game. There's no spec right now that is worse than Aug, other than maybe like Fire Mage. They're just really bad, insanely terrible. Um, I would say Sub Rogue's definitely better than Fire Mage and Aug, but Aug is definitely the worst spec in the entire game. It has a tiny bit of burst, but it's no longer like it needs to be like a ret version of a support class, and it's really just not. So the next one we have is going to be Prez Evoker, which is going to be the best spec in the game for healing. Now you can argue between H-Pal and Prez Evoker and Disc Priest, but I think Prez, just because it counters H-Pal, it just makes it a little bit better. We're just gonna put H-Pal up there as well. So H-Pal really insane as well. Having double bop, and honestly, I would probably say H-Pal's better, just because I've seen them more. Maybe that doesn't make any sense to you guys, but I play an H-Pal, and I will say having double bop, land hand, sack, especially when you're playing Lightsmith, when you're able to use your weapons to just counter react HP. My dog is snoring in the back, so I'm trying to get this done with. But that's pretty much that. The next one we have is going to be Disc Priest, which is our third and best healer. Let me know what you guys think about that one. Disc Priests have a lot of cooldowns. They have a lot. They have pretty much everything you could ask for. They are a little bit weaker on the healing side than like a Pres Evoker or an H-Bell, but they do have a lot of good. They have good CC. They do really well with a lot of things like RMP, jungle, stuff like that. The next one we have is going to be Holy Priest, which is our by far worst healer in the entire game. Just doesn't have any defensive cooldowns. It has Angel, which is nice, but it doesn't really have any defensive cooldowns for their teammates, and you're just not going to be able to keep up with the amount of damage rolling out. So still viable in a sense. You may see like one or two in every 60 games, but overall not that great. The next one we have is going to be DH. DH is actually a lot better than it was. Um, However, I still don't think it just competes. I still think it's just kind of terrible. It does a lot of burst damage, and it's still viable in a sense, but it's like once in a blue moon. You can make it work in like 3v3 arena, but like the moment you put it in a solo shuffle, it's gonna get stomped. I don't think I've faced a single DH in solo shuffle. I faced a few in threes, like Boomy DH. I faced a Ret DH, and they do a lot of damage. But it's just the problem is off their burst, they don't do any damage. It needs to be like Dragonfly DH for it to go up the S tier again, where it literally can kill you the entire game. Every I beam is just it's killing the entire team. That's pretty much that. Windwalker is easily one of the better specs in the game. I would say it's in front of Enhancement Shaman, Unholy DK, and Demo, just because Windwalkers just do an insanity amount of burst, and it's a consistent amount as well. So it's not just, oh, well, I just click burst for 3 seconds. It's not Shadowlands Windwalker. It is, the war within Windwalker. It's able to just shred the entire game. Obviously, I'd say for a good amount of 45 seconds, it has burst damage for about 45 seconds, which is a lot of damage going out, and they can easily do top charts. But the next one we have is Mistweaver. I would say Mistweaver is probably better than Restless Shaman, but not better than Wrestler. I think Wrestler is only better because of its Cyclone spams. Cyclone spamming is one of the most brutal things in the game right now with Feral Druids, Wrestler Druids, and Boomies. It's just super obnoxious, and it's just the fact that you're spamming them, and it's super obnoxious. It's really one of the most annoying things in life, but all well. The next one we have is Ret Paladin, which is easily going to be one of the better specs in the game right now. I would say it's right behind Outlaw Rogue, only due to the fact that Outlaw is just getting overall more. Actually, no, I would say Ret's just the best. I'd say Ret's only the best because of it just has everything. There's nothing Ret Paladins don't have right now. They have damage, they have off healing, they have off CDs, they have support, and they have defensive cooldowns. So, anybody with all 5 charts is going to be really good. And then we have Shadow Priest, which I would say it's better than um I'd say it's better than the rest of these guys, but worse than Boomy. I think Boomy just overall, it's just going to be better. Actually, no. I think I like it here. Again, it's kind of hard to put this somewhere, if I'm being honest, because SB does a lot of damage, but overall it's not. I think here's great. So I think it's better than these guys, just because it has support, which means it has Life Swap, Mass Dispel, Grip, um, Disperse. It has a lot of defensive cooldowns, and it has a lot of damage. It also goes really well with, like Shadow Play, SP Rogue, SP Feral, SP Warrior, etc. So let me know what you guys thought about this video. My dog's still snoring in the background, so hopefully you guys did enjoy this video so I can just get it out there. Let me know what you guys want to see next, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, peace.